Escape Room is 2019's first release, and it brings together 6 strangers who are brought to this escape room, and the winner will receive $10,000. However, these 6 strangers find out more about each other, and things start to turn deadly. So we all know how January movies go. This is where Oscar bait movies that were released in December in the limited release get their wide release, or this is where movies just go to die. I think Escape Room is a competent, watchable, fine movie. There's nothing really bad about this movie except for a couple aspects that I will talk about in this review, but I found it to be watchable, and that is because of the production design. I think that this has some really good production design, especially with the sets, the different escape rooms. Really, really unique. Some of the ones we saw from the trailers, my favorite one was the forest one that's like in the tundra and it's snowing. That one was awesome. Also, like, you get like an upside down like bar. That was cool. Stuff happens in there. I think that the uniqueness, the design, and the complexity of these escape rooms really make this movie entertaining. And the clues that they give you aren't complicated clues, and they actually make you think about these clues. And that's what I really like about Escape Room. The directing is also very competent. This is directed by the director who directed Insidious: The Last Key, and you can tell that he has had his hand in this genre. I think a lot of people are going to consider Escape Room a horror movie. I really don't. It does have horror movie cliches and elements and aspects to it that a horror movie would typically have, but I consider this more of a psychological thriller. You can definitely tell that he has touched his hands in this genre before, and that really helps with his direction of this movie. I don't think that this movie is poorly directed. I've seen some reviews saying that this movie is poorly directed. I don't think that at all. I think he does with what he was given for a script. I think that he does the best of what he can, and he gets the most out of all of his actors, despite some of the actors being completely bland and terrible at acting. Especially the one guy, I think his name was like Jason or something. That guy was bad. I think it really helps that he comes from a series like Insidious, and he directs this, and it really shows that he can master craft like this. He can craft suspense and thrills. And not to mention, James Wan started the Insidious franchise. And you can even say that Escape Room is inspired by Saw, which is another James Wan film. So the inspiration is there. It's kind of a watered-down version of Saw. The inspiration is definitely there. And I appreciate that about it. It's not a complete rip-off. I think the movie falters is entirely in its writing. I think that these are really bland characters. They're really unlikable characters. Every attempt at a backstory is shown through a flashback. And it's just nothing really hammered home to me. I understand why the movie had all these tragic, troubled people come together. That part makes sense, but it was just watching them compete in these different scenarios in this escape room. None of them are really all that likable except for 1 or 2 of them. And I can't really get behind any of those characters that are really unlikable. The movie's trying to get you to care, to make all of these people escape without a scratch. But there are so many of them I just wanted to get ganked. I was like, I hope you die and I hope you die. It's just why present some characters that are thrown into the situation that are very unlikable. I couldn't really connect with these people. I didn't really connect with any of these characters in this movie. Also, the first scene of the movie really shows you who's getting ganked. It tells you that this is following every psychological thriller / horror movie cliche. It's going to be the most predictable thing. You know who's going to die. You know who's going to live. Based on that scene alone. And that scene is hinted at, or it comes back full circle, later on in the movie. And the way the story plays out, while there are aspects of the movie that make sense, for instance, why all 6 of these people are here and their backstories, it all makes sense. But there's this twist at the end that really kind of dampens the entire movie. It really ruins the movie experience for me. It really wasn't an ending that I was fond of. And this has a Return of the King ending. It just keeps going and going and going. It doesn't want to stop. It's all set up for a sequel. I don't think we're going to get. I hope we don't get. And the reasoning behind this escape room I found was very weak. And the twist was just blah. And that's the biggest downfall of this movie, is the writing. There's nothing technically bad about this movie. I really appreciate the use of practical effects in a lot of scenes. There's only one scenario with an escape room that uses CGI, and that's what I call the LSD zebra room, because it looks like a room painted like a giant zebra, and there's effects that make it look like the characters are tripping on LSD. And there's some editing and lighting techniques in there that I'm not really too fond of as well. It kind of felt like I was at a nightclub and it was just flashing lights, and the way it was edited was strange to me. Mostly, my huge issue with this movie is the script. Its unlikable characters, its twist ending, the fact that the ending keeps going, and its predictability. Other than that, technically, aside from a few editing and lighting choices, this movie is fine. And the acting, for the most part, is competent. There is some bad acting, as I had mentioned before, but it's mostly competent. It's just the script. The script could have been tighter. It could have been cleaned up a little bit. It could have been fresh. This could have been a unique twist on an escape room, because everything has to be a thing now. It was inevitable that we were going to get a movie about an escape room eventually. I just think it could have been worse. This movie is a movie that could have been a lot worse, especially for a first week of January release. I thought this was going to be absolute shit. Luckily, I didn't walk out hating this movie, but it's definitely the script. The script is just, it's a mess. I feel like they didn't really know what to do at the end of this movie and as to what's behind all this whole thing, you know? And I think that's the biggest downfall of the movie. I'm going to give Escape Room a C. Guys, thank you for watching my review of Escape Room. In terms of my review schedule, I'm a busy man. I picked up more hours at work, so as of right now, my reviews are going to be late. A few days late. Probably Tuesday night / Wednesday morning, I'll have them up. But that's when my reviews are going to be coming out now, for the time being. So if you don't see anything from me, I'm still alive, I'm still doing this. It's going to be slow, and I might have to limit it to one movie a week, just so you know. It's just going to be slow for me for a little bit, because I'm busy, but I will try and see everything as often as I can. And I'll do my best to try and get more than one review out a week. Guys, thank you for understanding about my schedule. I hope you enjoyed my review of Escape Room, and I'll see you next time. Catch you on the flip side.